Sakshi, what do you start here?
Thank you, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our one-week online capacity building program on evolving dimensions of human rights in India. I am Sakshi, LLM student from CUSB, Senior Associate Pro Bono India and moderator for this session. And I welcome you all to the inauguration of a whole week of insightful discussions and transformative learning. I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our esteemed chief guest, Professor Dr. Rishikesh Dave, sir, Dean, Sarda School of Law, Sarda University. Sir, your presence here today adds immense value to this program and underscores our shared commitment to addressing human rights concerns. We are truly privileged to have you with us and we look forward to your valuable insights. This program is a collaborative effort between the Pro Bono Club, Kashmir Law College, and Pro Bono India, two organizations deeply committed to advancing human rights and justice. Our objective for this program is to explore the dynamic landscape of human rights in India, examining both the challenges and opportunities that defines this crucial field. Over the next week, we will be delving into a range of topics that reflects the current realities and future directions of human rights in our country. Our sessions will feature leading academicians, experts, practitioners, and advocates who will provide valuable perspective and foster meaningful discourse. Today's discussion marks the beginning of what promises to be an engaging and thought-provoking journey. I encourage everyone to actively participate, ask questions, and share your insights. Together, we will deepen our understanding of the changing dimensions of human rights and explore ways to contribute to a more just and equitable society. Without further ado, I am excited to hand over to Aya Ibrahim Sir, Faculty Coordinator Pro Bono Club, Kashmir Law College, who will set the stage for what's to come. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everybody present here. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Good evening, everybody present out here. As we all are aware about the importance of human rights in today's contemporary world, we know that these rights are universal and inherent to all human beings, regardless of their nationality, religion, ethnicity, gender, etc. So it was only in 1948 that these human rights were documented, and United Nations General Assembly adopted Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 and set it as a global standard for human rights adoption. In that backdrop, Pro Bono India and Kashmir Law College, Naushera, Srinagar, jointly organized this one-week capacity building program on the changing dimensions of human rights in India. So I welcome all the experts and participants on behalf of my team and hope that this program, that is one-week program, will become a success. It's over to you, Sakshi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So it's my great pleasure to invite our esteemed chief guest, Professor Dr. Rishikesh Dave, sir. Sir is right now Dean, Sarda School of Law, Sarda University, and a distinguished figure in the legal education with nearly 20 years of experience. Sir holds an LLM in Human Rights and International Humanitarian Law, and his doctoral research focused on sovereign immunity and international criminal law. He was awarded a doctoral scholarship by the Hague Academy of International Law. Throughout his career, Dr. Dave has held prominent academic and administrative roles, including positions such as Dean at Marwadi University, NIMS University, School of Law, and Galgotias University. He has also served as registrar and assistant professor at Gujarat National Law University and was the area head of criminal law department at Nirma University. Sir's expertise spans human rights, international humanitarian law, criminal law, and the law of evidence. He has organized and judged numerous moot court competitions and workshops and has a rich portfolio of national and international publications. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Rishikesh Dave, sir. Over to you, sir. We are excited to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. It's a privilege. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege to be part of this one-week capacity building program and to inaugurate it. Especially, I'm excited because it is on human rights, which is a subject very close to my heart. And to be honest, if in Saurashtra University, when I started my LLM, if there was not a specialization of human rights, I would not have been in legal field, legal education field at all. Because it was a human rights specialization that was offered at Saurashtra University, I decided to do LLM, and then because of that, I got into academics. So I thank Professor Kalpesh Gupta, Professor Ibrahim, Sakshi ma'am, to invite me and discuss a bit about human rights in the present context. Now it's a week-long capacity building program, and I've seen that very eminent personalities are going to speak about various different aspects of human rights. So what my purpose is, or I think, is to set a tone on the concept of human rights, and also give you all a food for thought about the issues pertaining to human rights. Starting about this particular discourse, when we are talking about human rights, the first thing we need to make clear, very clear in our mind, is that what is the meaning of right? Okay. Because without knowing the meaning of right, we cannot understand what human right is. So the first thing is, what is a right? A right is an entitlement, okay, to do or not to do anything, which is backed by legal sanctions. And when we are talking about human rights, so what will be the qualification required to have those rights? Okay, the qualification which is required to have those rights is that you have to be a human. Right, that is the most simplest thing we should remember. And why I am talking about all these things is because the problem which we are facing right now, especially in human rights jurisprudence, is that there, it's very easy to become an expert on human rights. There are so many people who call themselves expert of human rights. They write books on human rights without knowing the concept of human rights. And that is the problem why people have started hating this term as human right. Because we use the term human right very, very casually. Without any context, without understanding what human right is, and that spoils the entire jurisprudence of human rights. So my request, to all of you is to be very, very serious when we are using this particular term, human rights. Okay, because it's a term which is very, very important. It's a concept which is very, very important for all of us as human beings. Okay, and it is very, very important for us to preserve the sanctity of this word or of this term, because the way we are using it, the way we are not using but misusing this term, what is happening as a result is that people have started hating. When they see someone who are talking about human rights, they say, "Aage human rights wale, abhi bhavan mein bhatti dalenge, pura kaam barbad kar denge." So this is which is required to be taken care of. That we should know what exactly human rights are. That is number one. Number two, against whom we can ask for human rights. Okay, so that is the second thing which we are doing. We are making a lot of mistakes while we are claiming human rights. Okay, human rights can only be claimed against state. Right. When there is a concept of right, if you look at the Hoffidian classification of rights, right, there has to be two parties to a right. One is right obligator and one is right receiver. So when we are talking about human rights, okay, every human being, right, is entitled for human rights. It's as simple as that. Now, why I am emphasizing this thing that every human being is entitled for human rights? Because there are several, misconceptions. There are several misuse of this term, right? When we are talking about human rights, we cannot say or we cannot use a term like human rights of women, human rights of children, human right of prisoners. Okay. Now this will ring bells to many people. Okay. That what sir is talking about. But human rights, to be qualified to get human rights, you have to be human only. Right. Irrespective of your sex, gender, nationality, as Professor Ibrahim said. That it is irrespective of what you are. Only thing you require is that you need to be a human. So there can be rights of prisoners, rights of women, rights of children, but there cannot be human rights of children, human rights of women, human rights of prisoners. I hope you understand this particular thing very well. Because what is happening is, you all must be aware, recently there was a judgment by, I think, Delhi High Court or something like that. In that judgment, it was claimed that even animals have fundamental rights. So this is where we are doing mistakes, right? That human rights are only for humans. I recall, a few years back, I went to one of the state human rights commission on a visit, and they said that, okay, we do a lot of work in protection of human rights. We feed cows and cattle during drought. Now, this is not a work of human rights. This can be a work with regards to animal rights, okay, or with regard to animal welfare, or with regard to human compassion. But this cannot be a work which is of human rights. Okay, so we need to be very clear. Number one, human rights, always the state is the second party. Every individual, every human being is the right receiver, and it's the state only, nobody else, state only, who is right obligator. Right. Second thing is, human rights are applicable to all human beings. Okay. What are the other rights? For example, women right, there is a convention called CEDAW. Right. There is not a convention on human rights of women. For children rights, there is a convention on rights of the child. The convention is not termed as human rights of the child. Okay. So this is very important. Second thing, I want to put food for thought for all of you people is, these days, we are all talking about artificial intelligence, technology. Technology is going to take over human being or our work. So this will bring a lot of issues when it comes to human rights. Okay. The first and foremost issue I see when it comes to use of AI, use of technology, is and the conflict with human rights jurisprudence or human rights framework is that one of a very basic human right, which is very, very important right, is right to dignity. Okay, right to a dignified life. Now, artificial intelligence, machine learning can take care of many things, many issues which are there, but artificial intelligence cannot understand the concept of dignity. That's what I feel. Because dignity is something which is very, very personal, which is very, very subjective, and it has many dimensions to it, right? A behavior which I will feel totally okay, maybe it will hurt Professor Gupta, a lot, or his dignity a lot, and for me it will be okay. Because it is very, very subjective in its sense. So how will, an artificial intelligence program or app or whatever it is, will understand the concept of dignity and how, while uh, deploying AI, how AI will take care of preserving the dignity of individuals. That is a very, very important aspect that we all need to dwell upon and all need to think upon. Okay. This brings to another very important aspect of, human rights, which is very, very important these days, is about subjectivity and object versus objectivity. Okay. Many times it happens that, a group of people think that, okay, these are our traditions, these are our customs, we should be accepting that, we should be, abiding by that, and there are few individuals who think the other way around. Okay. So whether human rights are subjective or whether they are objective. Okay. So in my view, human rights are very subjective in nature, right? Because my dignity, my self-respect, my independence, my freedom of expression is mine, and nobody else can decide upon, what should be a dignified way of living for me, or what should be my clothes wear, or what should be my food habits, or what should be my, dressing sense. So nowadays what happens is that people decide on your behalf, or they're trying to decide on your behalf. Okay. Oh, how you can accept this? This is not dignified. Now, this is what is very important, right, to understand. We also know this concept as cultural relativism. Okay, because cultural relativism is very important aspect when you are deciding upon human rights, right? A particular situation will be a violation of human rights, probably in England or in Paris, but the same thing will not be a human right issue in India, in what you say, Rajkot or in Gandhinagar or in Patna or in Lucknow, right? Because we are living in a different cities, we are living in different traditions, we are living in different, places where there is a lot of difference. Okay. So human rights, one more aspect which is very important to understand over here is that the concept of human right changes from time to time, person to person, place to place. Okay. Which is again very important. Right. Something which will be a breach of privacy in Europe, okay, will be a totally okay when it comes to India. Okay. Or vice versa, something which will be very, very, breach of privacy in India, it may be perfectly okay in Europe, right? Or probably, whatever was thought okay or was thought not okay 5 years back, 10 years back, like for example, LGBTQ rights. Okay, 10 years back, Supreme Court had a different opinion on it. After 10 years, the judgment has changed, because the society has changed, the way we think has changed, So human rights concept also changes as per that. Okay, as per time, as per place, okay, and as per person. Right. So we have to be very, very careful about it. You cannot have, the concept of happiness of the greatest number. Okay, when it comes to human right. In human right, each and every individual is important, and each and every individual's dignity has to be maintained, his freedom has to be maintained, and that is what the concept of human rights are. So these are the few things which I wanted to, provide you or give you food for thought in my inaugural speech. And I wish this event a big success. And I am open, if there is a time, I don't know how the format is, that I can take few questions also. I'm perfectly okay with it. But thank you so much, Sakshi, Dr. Kalpesh Gupta, Professor Ibrahim for giving me this opportunity. And I wish you all the best for the entire week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So right now I will invite Pooja ma'am, Priya ma'am for vote of thanks. Priya ma'am, over to you.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Today we have gathered here for this prestigious gathering here regarding the capacity building program concerning the human rights. So, what it takes to organize a capacity building program or a faculty development program seldom appears on the face of it as to, the amount of coordination, the amount of programming, the amount of hard work that goes in. And it doesn't appear on the face of it, but it involves a lot of technicalities, talking with the resource persons, then the tedious work which is all involved in it, and again a lot of hard work which is involved. And for that, I think we have to thank Professor Kalpesh. 5 years back, if we look down the lane, we could never have imagined that all of us gathering together here, sitting at our own places, and getting together for with a commonality of intellectual pursuits and so easily accessible. So our heart is deeply filled with so much gratitude for Professor Professor Kalpesh, who's come up with such a creative and an innovative initiative of creating such programs so easily accessible to all of us. And other than that, this is just one program that we are organizing. Other than that, many might already know it, and for all those who don't know it, Professor Kalpesh is already organizing numerous such programs. And I don't even understand how he has the time to take a single breath because he's so deeply engrossed in organizing all such programs. We also deeply are thankful to Professor Rishikesh Dave because, sir, we totally understand the amount of responsibility which is on your shoulders for the position that you hold. And in spite of that, sir, you have come up, you have shown up, and you have provided us with such important information and such a important inaugural ceremony on the human rights. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule and for coming up and showing up to all of us. And thank you for sharing your insights with all of us. We are really, really thankful to you, sir. And other than that, we have all the resource persons. I'm really thankful to all the resource persons who agreed to come up and share their views, their recommendations, their suggestions on the topic just at a moment without any glitch in the entire process. I'm really thankful. My heart is filled with deep gratitude for all those who have come up and who have shown, and for all the resource persons who have agreed to share their insights, their recommendations, and their knowledge on the subject. Thank you to all the resource persons. And again, as I said in the beginning, that there is so much coordination, so much scheduling, so much programming which is involved in such programs. So our team, the core human rights team, which was deeply involved in all such programs, and in the present program in particular, Mr. Yahya Ibrahim and Sakshi, who are going to be moderating today. And you are going to notice how systematized and organized they are going to be in their moderation. And all the upcoming days, the moderators who are going to be there, I'm deeply, deeply thankful to all of them. And above all, to all of you who have come up, who have shown up today, because I understand that everybody is so deeply engrossed and so deeply caught up in all the strands of complicances because all of us are busy. And in spite of that, all of you with a commonality of intellectual pursuits, you have agreed to show up today. I am deeply, deeply thankful to you, and I really hope that you take away the information perhaps which you have never ever heard of before, or perhaps a new perspective on human rights with this 7 days program. I welcome all of you, and I am deeply thankful to all of you for being there, for showing up. And I hope that all of you show up again with the same rigor and same zeal in the upcoming 7 days. So thank you everybody for showing up, for joining us today. And now over to Sakshi, who's going to moderate the further program. So over to you, Sakshi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Sorry, before we end up,
Yes, sir.
this is our fourth program with Kashmir Law College Pro Bono Club, with Yahya Ibrahim. We did 10 days capacity building program on legal aid, and then we, we has been chasing me, sir, kuch aur karte hai. So we did right to education 1 week program, capacity building program, and recently we did on POSH also. That's prevention of sexual harassment of women at the workplace, and that we got very huge success all over the India. And then with the help of Dr. Priya, we thought of let us plan this program. So she is core part, I would say. She planned entire thing, subjects, topics, and then also approach all the resource person and put together in this 1 week program. So I hope participant will get a lot of insight from that's what are the emerging trend in the human rights during this 1 week. So thank you very much, Rishikesh sir, for joining us and sharing your valuable time. Over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you, sir. So we will start our first session in 1-2 minutes with the next our guest joins for the session, Professor Kushwan sir.